the way we work now as GPs is very different to how it was pre-COVID. Patients perhaps are taking a little bit more responsibility for certain aspects of their health. Because we had a time where it was very difficult, the access was very limited to GPs, or we were in such a crisis that actually patients weren't engaging so much, but now they are, but it's in a slightly different way. So there's a lot more telemedicine, video calls and things like that. So the attitudes to health have changed dramatically, and the way that we're delivering healthcare. So I don't know how that will translate into cannabis, but I think there's going to be very interesting avenues that open up, and I think patients are looking for slightly alternative ways of managing symptoms, or natural or holistic ways of managing certain things. We have been taught over the years that it's traditionally could cause psychosis or had detrimental effects on the mind and so on. And actually, that for me was reinforced when I worked in psychiatry placements. So I did a number of inpatient jobs throughout my medical training, and I saw the negative sides of cannabis, but I saw the negative sides of street cannabis. Patients who were suffering with psychosis or bipolar, very unwell, unstable patients who would go out on their leave and they'd smoke high potency skunk, and it would trigger a psychotic episode, and they're back to square one. So I had a very negative view at one point on cannabis. But what we're talking about here is the illicit street cannabis that has been grown to get people high. I mean, the THC content in street cannabis now is way higher than it was, say, in the 1960s. It's full of pesticides, ammonia, fungus, some of it is, you don't know what people are using or smoking. And what we're finding now, and the evidence base is developing around this association with psychotic disorders and psychosis. And actually, I think where our current understanding really now is that, yes, in young developing brains, so adolescents, teenagers who are smoking high strength THC street cannabis, if they have an underlying genetic predisposition to psychosis, it could potentially trigger a psychotic episode. And that also applies for people who have had psychosis or they have a very strong family history. What we're understanding now is that those groups of patients should stay well away from high THC cannabis. But again, this is why, if we can medicalize this more and we can understand it more and understand the strains and what people might be using, then we can help those patients. There are so many countries now across the world where cannabis has been legalized for medical use. And if you look at the majority of the 50+ countries now which have taken this step, you'll find that the bulk of prescribing is coming from GPs. And also, what you'll also find is that in many jurisdictions, the scripts are either fully funded or partially funded by government or health insurance companies, or they're relatively affordable for patients if they're prepared to pay for script. So I think it's really hard now not to, if you're a patient and you're here in the UK and you're struggling to get a script for a condition where there's clear evidence that you would benefit from a cannabis script. I think it's hard for those groups of patients or those individual patients to look across to Germany or Holland or Denmark or Canada and think, well, if I live there, I could get this very high quality product through my GP. And that's what motivates me really to try and get this conversation moving forward and try and get scripts to patients through GPs. I don't think we need more than, say, 5% of GPs in the UK to understand it and be confident in prescribing cannabis to serve the UK population. And I guess that cohort of GPs could then take referrals from colleagues, like you see in Canada or North America, where some doctors or GPs have developed this deeper knowledge of cannabis prescribing, and they will tend to take referrals from across the area or from colleagues within catchment area. So that's sort of how I envisage it could play out here in the UK. Obviously, the main problem we have at the moment is that GPs have not been allowed to initiate scripts. So we're actually allowed to prescribe under a shared care arrangement with a consultant, a specialist. But in reality, it's not happening. And there's a lot of reason why that isn't happening. But I think had the UK allowed GPs to initiate a script and be prescribers, there would have been more of an uptake and more of an interest, because I think there'd be a bit more pressure on GPs to learn more about it. What's become very clear, we live in a globalised society, and what COVID's done is shown us that, we're all, we're all connected, we're all very close. Some of the webinars we've done recently have been with North American prescribers, and it's very easy now to get groups together from across the world and talk about these things. And actually, the UK, yes, we're an island, but we need to sort of look beyond what we're doing here and start to work with countries and clinicians and academic institutions who are slightly ahead of where we are now, because we can learn so much from them.
My name is Sam Cannon and I am the founder of Beyond Green. On the 2nd and 3rd of December this year, the UN will vote on the World Health Organization's recommendation on the rescheduling of cannabis. This is a mammoth moment in time. Please like, comment and share these videos so that the truth can be told and that the planet and everybody on it can benefit from this truly, truly incredible plant once again. Thank you.